Hey guys, and welcome! Today I want to show you my favorite loadouts for the two LMGs in Battlefield 2042, and as usual I also explain why I chose the attachments, what benefit they have for the respective weapon, and what alternatives I would recommend if you need a setup for a different playstyle. So let's get right into it with the PKP-BP. According to its description, it's a heavyweight weapon useful to laying down support fire. And I gotta agree with this, cause the PKP is especially strong on mid and long range and when prone. So it's not really made for close combat, even though it's not too bad there as well. Earlier this year, this used to be one of the strongest weapons in Battlefield 2042, but since then it got nerfed a bit here and there, and especially the recoil is much stronger now than it was before. But nevertheless, I think a hard-hitting setup with more range and firepower really fits this weapon. So I still went with the high power rounds as ammunition type, even though it increases the vertical recoil a lot, but the range and firepower are more important for me here. To counter the recoil, I went with the Champion Muzzle Brake, cause it's the only attachment that decreases the vertical recoil by about 20%. The Warhawk compensator also has a recoil decrease, but it's not that strong, plus it would lower the overall weapon accuracy no matter if aimed down sights or while hip firing, and I didn't want that. I know the Champion Muzzle Brake also increases the horizontal recoil a bit, but for the huge reduction of vertical recoil I'm more than willing to take this. And the horizontal recoil is not getting so bad that you would have massive problems to hit targets on range, so it's still okay. In addition, the recoil control in general gets a bit easier when you deploy the bipod, which is the only available underbarrel attachment for this weapon anyhow, so it's not like you have much of a choice here. But if the recoil is still too strong for you and you want to decrease it even more, you can also go with a standard issue mag, because this has a lower recoil but also a loss of firepower and range. So that's why I don't use it, because I always felt like this doesn't really work well with the PKP. For the scope, I went with the Fusion Holo as it has a clear sight but low zoom, which helps to control the recoil as well. Cause like I already explained in my video about the effect of the different attachments on the recoil, the higher the zoom of the scope, the harder it is to control the weapon, even though the actual recoil is not increased at all. For the LCMG, I went with a completely different setup, cause this is a much more versatile weapon that you can shoot when prone if you want to, but you can also go into the thick of the battle with it and clear objectives. And for me that's exactly what I like about it and why I set it up for more close and mid-range. So I went with the close combat ammunition that has an increased rate of fire and a much better recoil control. The slight disadvantage here is that it also has a lower range, but that's fine for me since I don't use it much on range, and even if I do, it's still okay. For the underbarrel, I equipped the rattlesnake grip, cause it increases the hipfire accuracy and also slightly reduces the recoil, and that's exactly what I want in close range combat. It also slightly reduces the aim down sights accuracy, but I didn't recognize such a horrible reduction that I wouldn't be able to hit shots anymore, so I think that's still fine. Before the attachment overhaul with update 0.4 I used the laser sight to increase hipfire accuracy, but back then the laser wasn't as easily detectable as it is now, so I switched to the rattlesnake instead. For the barrel attachment, I used the tactical compensator to increase the overall weapon accuracy, cause this not only affects the aim down sights accuracy, but also the hipfire accuracy. So the slight loss in aim down sights accuracy that comes with the rattlesnake grip is countered by the compensator, while the hipfire accuracy is even more increased. Same with the recoil control. The compensator comes with a slight loss in recoil control, but with a better recoil control of the close combat magazine, this loss isn't a problem. If you want a setup for more mid and long range for the LCMG, cause that's the playstyle you prefer, I can recommend to go with the standard issue magazine instead of the close combat, since it has a higher range and firepower but on a bit lower fire rate, with the Cobra grip as underbarrel attachment for more accuracy when static, and with the Champion Muzzle Brake as barrel attachment since it decreases the vertical recoil even more, and just like I said for the PKP, the slight increase in horizontal recoil is not so significant. So if you don't like the close range setup, the more versatile one might be worth a try. For the optics, I went with the Fusion Holo again for the same reasons I already explained at the PKP. In addition, I also have the ADR bipod equipped in the last slot of the plus menu, so I can switch over to it for situations where I have to stay prone to defend an objective, for example. Because especially in breakthrough or rush, where there's always an attacking and a defending team, this can really come in handy. In general, I would also say that the LCMG is one of the best and most balanced weapons in Battlefield 2042 at the moment. And that's it for today. I hope this video helps you to find a good setup for the two LMGs, and if it does, don't forget to drop a like or a comment below and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more content like this. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome.